I don't know if you know this, but where I grew up, if you run away from a fight, you are a coward. And if someone beats you in a fight, you are actually a loser. And I can tell you for free, you are not going to get any girlfriend throughout your secondary school days. But if you fight very hard in a fight, if you give your best, and people saw that you are dogged, there's a glory that comes with that. At least you are able to split some blood from the other party, even if you are thoroughly beaten. We don't care, but make sure you land some important punches. So, what am I really saying? I think growing up, we love fight. I can say that for my own school, for where I grew up, and not just that, we have the rules of fighting. How you engage with the other party, how how well you should fight, how honorable to lose a fight. All of that are in play. So if that is the rule of the Wild West, today you are on legally speaking, and we want to establish what does the law have to say about two fighting. And that's what we report when we go to the principal office. Say, sir, is it two fighting? It's two fighting. Both of them are fighting. And when we call it two fighting, we are not expecting the teacher or the lecturer or the principal to do anything to that case, because it's two fighting. It's not as if one person is bullying the other. Two competent people are fighting. So that's what we believe. Two fighting. Yeah. So, but today, we are with the legal mind. B. Tracy, known legally as Manuel Bambari ESQ, and is here to share some light on, legally speaking, on the subject of assault, or what we call fighting. B. Tracy, you are welcome.
So, thank you very much. Assault, like you said, is basically getting involved with another person, like physically. Although in some cases it does not have to be physically, but like for the purpose of this conversation, we are talking about physically. So, and
No, don't keep it to the purpose of, because legally speaking, I believe audience of legally speaking are people that want to know, where can I cross the line? Where is it possible for me to have crossed the line? Where can I get jailed or get penalized or fined? What sort of assault do the law make reference to? Is there any place other than fighting?
So, I will start by going into, like, when we have this kind of issue, we always look at what are the statutes on this. And you will be familiar with the statutes we will explore today, which are the Criminal Code and the Penal Code, because those are the statutes that contain the definitions and the punishment for crimes in Nigeria. And although there's something interesting about today's subject matter, which is assault, and the interesting thing about it is the fact that when it comes to assault, it does not necessarily have to be a crime.
Okay.
And that's what differentiates it from many other topics we've treated here. Because when it comes to assault, it can be a civil case, which is a case between two people. So a criminal case has to be initiated by the government or the governmental body, like in Nigeria, the Nigerian police force. We arrest the person and then charge the person to court. But when it comes to civil case, it means it is between two people, and then these two people will try to take their matter to court and go and resolve it there.
When I was doing my own personal studies, I learned, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that a criminal case is a case against the state. It's when you commit a crime that the state feels you actually, how do I put that word? It's an infringement against the state.
The state, yes.
Yeah, it's like you have passed your boundary against the state. And a civil case is when you have passed your boundary against another person.
And then the person can come to the court that this person has done me wrong, and I want this damage for this. Like, I want this person to make this payment for it.
But when we discussed rape, and sexual assault in our first episode or so, we majorly discussed rape actually. What I think is against a person, when does it become the matter of the state?
The reason why it's a matter of the state is that the state is charged with the responsibility to maintain law and order and to ensure the safety and the security of every individual.
Okay.
So whenever someone attacks an individual, assaults an individual, the state takes it upon itself to punish the offender so that such will not be repeated again, and then we can maintain law and order.
So where is that? How is that not the same thing with assault? Why do we have to have a civil assault and a criminal assault?
The reason why we have to do that is because even if the person is being punished, you can still say, no, I want monetary payment. Because somebody that assaults you, although we will get back to this part. So let's first look into what constitutes assault.
Okay.
And I will rely on the Nigerian Penal Code. I've explained in a previous episode that the Penal Code is applied in the northern part of Nigeria,
country.
And the southern part of Nigeria, the Criminal Code is usually what is applied.
Okay.
So I rely heavily on those
We are learning very well. We are learning.
So I rely heavily on those two statutes.
The Penal Code and the Criminal Code.
To explain what assault is.
So what did the Criminal Code have to say about it? I think that's what applies to majority of states.
Yeah. The criminal
but the north are larger. Is that not the case?
Yeah, the north is larger.
So
19 states in the north.
Okay, so maybe we should prioritize the Penal Code here.
Yeah, but we go into the Criminal Code first because we are speaking here from Oyo State.
Okay.
And the Criminal Code is what applies.
Interesting. That is my source. The Criminal Code applies to Lagos State, where most of our audience are, and then Oyo State, for instance, and Osun State. These places have the Criminal Code in place. And then, in case you are forgotten, when a bill is passed in the House, we talked about it in our first episode. It becomes a law within a state, So now let's hear what the law has to say about the Criminal Code on assault. Assault is fighting. You assaulted me. And it can be of forms such as sexual assault, as we talked about in our first episode. You should check that episode out.
So, Section 252 of the Nigerian Criminal Code.
So is that far? Assault. Is that far on the list?
252 defines assault. And I read to you now. Assault, a person who strikes, touches, or moves, or otherwise applies force of any kind to the person of another, either directly or indirectly, without his consent, or with his consent, if the consent is obtained by fraud, or who by any bodily act or gesture attempts or threatens to apply force of any kind to the person of another, or without his consent. In such circumstances that the person making the attempt or threat has actually or apparently a present ability to effect his purpose, he is said to assault that person, and the act is called an assault.
Okay, so if I slap you, is that an assault?
Without my consent.
Oh, okay, there's a consented type of... please, is there a consented type of slapping? Have you ever asked for somebody consent before you slap that person? Did you ask for somebody consent before you slap that? So, no. Let me ask you this question. Let's say I caught you sleeping with my girlfriend and I slap you. Is that consented or not consented slapping?
This is something I love about the law.
Okay.
Which is the fact that you can make a claim in that situation. One can make a claim in that situation that he is assaulted. And then the person will say, I'm doing this out of self-defense. I'm doing this out of whatever the case may be, that you might claim that somebody sleeping with your wife is causing whatever kind of distress somebody sleeping with your wife is causing.
Oh, you are causing me emotional distress right now on this channel.
So I love the fact that it can go both ways. It will be resolved in the court of law.
Okay.
In this kind of situation, the first instance will be the High Court. Like if it is. Okay, but I will get there. So
do you know the funny part? The first time I come across the idea of assault was I was in police custody in 2022. So we went to court at Tinubu Square. There's one court there. And this man showed the magistrate that all his teeth have been removed because one guy blowed him, gave him blow, and he fell down and all his teeth removed. And then they go and throw this guy in 2 months in Kirikiri or something like 4 months. I don't know. They said he can be released on bail. That's why I know that I thought this thing is too fighting now. It's too fighting. That's why I grew up to know. In my area, it's not called too fighting. On a normal, you must fight doggedly.
I don't know if you remember, like, if you even go and complain to your parents that somebody hit you, they'll be like, and your hand is paining you. You cannot hit your own back.
You cannot hit your own back.
So that's the funny thing, but that's not the position of the law. The position of the law is that when you get hit like that, okay, call the police. One, like, you can win two ways, in the sense that call the police so that the person will be duly punished.
Okay.
And at the same time, you can file a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit against the person, so that you can accept, so that you can be given damages as to the whatever kind of distress
that the
you
person
have
caused.
suffered. So maybe even his physical injury. But I want us to pay attention to the way this thing is defined. Assault is defined. It even includes that the person does not have to hit you yet. The person just
can
needs to shakara you. Exactly. Can just shakara you.
I'm paying attention, but I was like, is this what I'm thinking?
The person can just shakara you. And then after shakaraing you, there's one, if you notice that there's one clause there that can the person effect that thing that is shakaraing you about. So somebody that does not have hand now, that his hand is broken, threatens to punch you, and then you are now saying the person assaulted you. What are you saying?
What are you saying?
Somebody that is hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, what are you saying? Another person is shakaraing you and you say So really what the law is saying is that if I cause a certain shock on you,
exactly,
that's an assault
to constitute an assault.
Wow.
And the criminal code further defines the meaning of applies force. It says the term applies force, in quotes, includes the case of applying heat, light, electrical force, gas, odor, or any other substance or thing, whatever if applied in such a degree as to cause injury or personal discomfort.
So wait, if
you are thinking what I'm thinking,
so if you are in the bus and you have 8-7 egg in your house, all of a sudden you now turn yourself to Jelili. You are not preparing all with different kind of
causing us discomfort.
You can be liable of assault.
You are applying force.
You are applying force here. Be careful, you are applying force.
Is that funny? Like, assault is that wide?
Okay.
Under the
I'm feeling this assault. I'll be assaulted. If you are not liking this video already, I'm feeling assaulted already. You are watching this, you are not laughing. You are not laughing and you are not liking this video. I feel assaulted. I'm going to sue you. So, we'll meet in court.
So you are carrying out assault. Let's go into the penal code, and so we can do that comparison that we always do.
Okay, so where is the penal code? What's the penal code stand on this? Let me hear the penal code, please. Let me hear the penal code, because it's becoming interesting. If you don't like this video, this is an assault. You know, follow the channel before you cause an assault. I checked that our last video has about 60 or 600 views or something like that, and nobody has liked. You guys are not following the channel. What's happening? This is an assault too.
So section 264 of the penal code is what defines assault.
Okay.
And according to section 264, whoever makes any gesture or any preparation intending or knowing it to be likely that such gesture or preparation will cause any person present to apprehend that he who makes that gesture or preparation is about to use criminal force to that person, is said to commit an assault.
Criminal force.
So you don't need to hit somebody yet.
Like,
just have a kind of presence,
like
that is giving the vibe that you want to.
So that means all these Agbero boys are always assaulting people.
They are on steady basis.
On serious. On serious.
So explanation is that mere words do not amount to assault. Does not.
Some of you that you say and I'm verbally assaulting you, I'm not verbally. The law do not recognize verbally assaulting you. There's nothing like that. I can say what I want.
But
there's no verbally. Like this video before I change it for you.
But the words which a person uses may give to his gestures or preparations such a meaning as may make those gestures or preparation amount to an assault. So if I say I will slap you, versus if I say I will slap you, we know that what I'm saying is different.
So I will slap you.
You cannot come
It's not the
and
same
you
thing.
cannot
I
come
will
and tweak
slap
the
you.
law. You cannot come and tweak the law on that part. We know what we are saying. When so don't start trying to backpedal at a point that no, I was just saying
But the law criminalizing the intent is quite a very interesting thing.
Yeah,
where is the cop out here?
You know the
I think every law always have a cop out because there should be a physical response that can be measured, or there's something like that.
Like if two people are fighting,
impact.
If two people are fighting, for instance, if somebody responds to a slap, I don't think that, and even if the slap that, even if the response is like even bigger, like I reply with a utter slap, it will not amount to assault if I can ground it in self-defense. If I can ground it
the second one?
Yeah, the second slap. Like even
though
it is heavier than the first one, I can still ground it in self-defense if it is
so
reasonable.
What about the first one?
But the first one is assault.
Oh,
even that we did not both consent to eating each other. Like boxers, for instance. They have consented to eating each other. So a boxer cannot, after losing a fight,
and you say that I was assaulted throughout the whole match. I was assaulted throughout the whole match. I become the assume in that discussion. You know?
In the penal code, an illustration is given actually.
Okay.
About assault. And the illustration A says, A shakes his fist at Z, intending or knowing it to be likely that he may thereby cause Z to believe that A is about to strike. A has committed an assault.
Okay.
So don't backpedal. There's no room for backpedaling in this one. Just you almost hit A. Even if A dodges it, you still committed
an assault.
So then
you have assaulted me.
2.
You are watching this video up to this point. You have not subscribed. You have not liked. You have assaulted me. Even if you pretend as if you are going to like later, you have assaulted me.
B. A begins to untie the lead of a ferocious dog, intending or knowing it to be likely that he may thereby cause Z to believe that he is about to cause the dog to attack Z. A has committed an assault.
You are trying. You know, all of you that used to walk dog. I'm watching you on 3D. All of you that used to walk dog, you don't be using dog to shakara small children.
Exactly.
You be using your dog to shakara small children. That's assault. Stop your wicked ways. That's assault. It's assault. Like this video.
So,
you want to commit assault.
Then the third instance, if A takes up a stick, saying to Z, I will give you a beating. Yeah, though the words used by A could in no case amount to assault. And though the gesture accompanied by any circumstances might not amount to an assault, the gesture explained by the words may amount to assault.
Oh.
So if I say I pick up a stick, I will beat you. That means the fact that I picked up the stick while I'm saying I will beat you is what constitutes assault. Not necessarily.
Our secondary school teachers and primary schools assaulting the student.
The funny thing is that they are indeed assaulting the student. But the difference is just that
is it consented?
That's what I'm about to say, that did you accept the terms and agreement when you enter that school? And
I did not sign any form. I did not sign any form. Is that what you have to say the law? I did not sign anything that say you are going to
actually attended a school where I signed one school though. Out of all the schools I attended 6 secondary schools. And only one was where I signed a kind of, my parents signed, not necessarily me, like a consent form to, like,
so you can be punished.
Part of the stuff is that you can be punished. Punishments may include describe different kinds of punishment. So it was interesting when I read that stuff. But that was the only school I know of where I.
So most schools right now are committing assault.
But I know that the judges will try.
Dear lawyer, if you are go and sue all the school in your area and then sell them on a consent form. Sue all of them, drop charges in front of them, and all of them are committing assault. Then go and sell them on your asset form, consent form,
making sure they.
And then you make money through that one. That's strategy.
That's
you get
a great idea, actually.
Very good idea. Sue all the schools in your area. You will see all of them start dropping money for you now. Because they don't want to go to court, of course. And then you drop the charges. It will be a class action suit. All you need is a couple of students from those schools to sign it that they are being assaulted. And I can guarantee you for free, you are going to see many students that is going to sign it. I can guarantee you for free, especially when you guarantee them that they are going to be, their name is going to be keeping anonymous. You like that strategy? Yeah. That's why you subscribe to a channel like this. That's why you follow content like this, because I give you top optics. So what is the punishment for? That's where I'm interested in now.
Yeah.
What is the punishment for? Because if the punishment is not that striking, what do we give? Because the crime is such a ridiculous crime in the first place. So now, what is the punishment for assault?
We are in the Penal Code. So now think about this. They said whoever assaults or uses criminal force to any person otherwise than on a grave and sudden provocation. I like this distinction, and that's what defends you against when you and somebody is fighting and somebody eats you first and then you eat them back. You are not assaulting such person. Okay. That was on a provocation, and person is getting their response.
Can a provocation include just saying words at you? Is there a definition of provocation according to law? Can such provocation include just somebody is abusing my mother, abusing my father? Because that time when we were in secondary school, we don't used to grieve for somebody that abused our mother.
Yeah, like how do we want to define the grave and sudden provocation?
Because if you provoke me, you are the one that provoked me. You provoke me. You said my mother is a bitch, my mother is a witch, my mother that have two husbands, blah blah blah. You said all those rubbish. It's a provocation now. Is the law not defining what provocation look like? What is provocation?
So like the first punishment. It is going to be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 year, or with a fine which may extend to 10,000 naira.
Okay.
So that's the first case. Then if it is grievous hurt is caused, maybe somebody is injured, seriously injured or badly injured by such assault or criminal force, with the person is punished with imprisonment which may extend to 3 years, or with a fine which may extend to 20,000 naira.
Okay, 3 years or 20,000 naira.
20,000 naira. So I know that most judges in recent time, they will most likely just give you the fine rather than sending you to jail for assault in criminal cases.
But I thought if you have some form of damages, you can request for. Let's say what happened to you, you are punched, then you get rushed to the hospital, you spend a lot of money in the hospital.
That's why even after the state has taken up your matter, you should still file a civil lawsuit.
Okay.
Which is
because the criminal code only specify maximum of 20,000. The one I'm looking at.
Penal code. But when you file your own lawsuit, you can say I'm suing these people for 1 billion naira because I spent this much money in the hospital.
I lose all this time at
dog
work.
Beat me. I lost all this time. I entered into depression. This happened to me.
It become a stress pattern.
Although when it comes to
my child, I have not eaten for 15 days because of it.
Although when it comes to civil cases, you should note this, that you will have to make your case very reasonable so that they can see that the probability of the evidence is with you, which is the fact that you need to submit in reality your hospital bill and everything, like every document that will back your case, so that they will know that this person is not asking for too much. So you will not be unreasonably saying that you need to give me 100 million naira when you did not spend, when they just bandage your leg for 2K. That kind of stuff. So you are just looking for. So you have to make sure you are reasonable with it. You will see that everything will be in your favor than not. So that's why even after the government has done their own part of ensuring law and order, so that the person does not do that again. That was the government's business. Your own is you that will go and seek for your own reparation by filing a civil
case between two of you.
So exactly. So that's the difference of. That's why I'm sure many.
What about the criminal code? Do criminals provide something different? Right? Yes, for criminal code. Because now, if you go and sue all these schools, one thing you can do is do the math. If you sue all these schools and about 10 students from different schools different class, signed your petition against them, your case, filed the lawsuit against them, and they sign it. 10 students per class, 10,000, even maximum 20,000. You have money to win because I did not consent. Many schools now don't have any form like that say you can punish my child. So you are going to make a lot of money selling them on the consent form for why they come. In fact, if you don't want to go the case court thing, you can just walk up to any school around you and start telling them about the fact that if you guys don't have a consent form that is saying that you can punish students, you are liable to this kind of lawsuit. And it's not going to, when that lawsuit comes to your doorstep, it's not only the fine you are going to pay, it's the legal fees that is going to be accrued. You are going to hire a lot of lawyers to defend your school, and they can buy that form from you. Very interesting thing that for you to try. So let's hear what is the criminal code saying is the punishment for people that commit assault. Because Shakara include assault. And you not liking this video is assault. You not subscribing to this channel is assault. So subscribe before I file a lawsuit against you.
The criminal code really went really far about like explaining how if you are an officer of the law, you can, like, it is lawful if you, as an officer of the law, you do. Okay, let me read some parts out because there are many parts. He said an assault is unlawful and constitutes an offence unless it is authorized or justified or excused by law. The application of force by one person to the of another may be unlawful, although it is done with the consent of that other person. It is lawful for a person who is charged with by law with the duty of executing or giving effect to the lawful sentence of a court, including a customary and area court, to execute or give effect to that sentence. So if the sentence is that they should assault you, you have to, the person that is assaulting you is not committing an assault. So you should note that kind of situation.
So what about if police officer slaps you?
It goes forward to explain that it is lawful for a person who is charged by law. Okay, it is lawful for a person who is charged by law with the duty of executing a lawful warrant issued by a court or judicial officer or any other person to detain another person under such warrant. So there are such kind of instances where.
So if a police officer has warrant, he can assault you.
And like it is a rather gray area when it comes to those kind of places because it's not specifically said that I can assault you, but like if such person like threatens to, hey, if you do this, I will, like, that kind of, police officers do not get to the point of action and start saying they start rubbing your head, because most criminals are not going to take it easy. They can threaten to shoot them and do different things. It will not constitute assault in such situation because they are trying to execute an arrest or a detention of such person.
But must that police officer have warrant first?
From everywhere I've read out, it includes a warrant has to be, like, the person has to have that warrant.
Okay.
Arrest warrant. So
but most police officers don't have arrest warrant. They don't even secure any warrant from. They just call you. They just arrest you. They just come to your house, arrest you. The last time I was arrested, they come here with gun as if I'm one armed robber.
There's another part to it, which is when a peace officer or a police officer is proceeding lawfully to arrest with or without warrant a person for an offense which is a felony, which means a serious crime. So felonies, they are simple offenses, which is the highest sentence for those ones are like 2 years. There are misdemeanors, which highest sentence is like, I think 2 to 7 years or 2 to 5 years. But 7 years and above kind of crimes, just know that they are not simple. Those are felonies.
Yes.
And in such situation, if somebody is going to be arrested for a felony, it is lawful for a peace officer or a police officer, as the case may be, to exact some kind of things that can constitute an assault on a normal day. So
hey, stop there!
For them, exactly.
I'll shoot your leg.
Yeah, because those people will not be easy people to when they want to arrest them. So when any person has lawfully arrested another person for an offense, it is lawful for him to use such force as he believes on reasonable grounds to be necessary to prevent the escape or rescue of the person arrested. But if the offense is not one which such that the offender may be arrested without warrant, this section shall not authorize the use of force which is intended or is likely to cause death or grievous harm. So this place does not excuse when you are going to, like, shooting, even if it does not meet the person, but like shooting that person. This place does not excuse it, especially when the arrest is without warrant. But if it is with warrant, more things are justified. More reasonable force
can be applied in such situations.
I heard that our police officers will be wearing body cameras soon, and with that they'll be able to know whether it was justified for them to actually apply such forces in such situation or not. And note that all these stuffs are provided in the criminal code. Then let me go to the sentence.
So what's the sentence? What's the punishment under the criminal code? Because you are in your state, most of this audience are in Lagos State, and people that are in Ogun.
Okay,
all of this apply.
Let me note this part. Let me note this part because we did not talk about it. A blow of other force, not in any case extending to a wound or grievous harm, may be justified for the purpose of correction as follows. a father or a mother may correct his or her legitimate child or illegitimate child being under 16 years of age.
So if your child is under 16, you can flog her.
Exactly. You can do things that will constitute an assault.
You see, the Bible says something and I like it. I'm an atheist, for those of you that would like to know. But I love this part of the word. It said, it is in the heart of the child that madness resides. It is cane and proper flogging that we use to drive it out. I don't know what translation is that, but that's my own translation of the word.
So I think this part is what protects school people. Like the fact that parents have delegated the responsibility for taking care of.
But you must first, the parents must first sign that.
Which is why I think that kind of form is very important, so that you can really prove that.
So if you have a uncle that have a secondary school, primary school uncle, you take this information, then let them have a consent from where, you know, the student and the parent and everybody are signing this thing as required. So that, you know, there's a consent with the fact that we can flog your child. So that we don't go into cases.
And it must not cause wound or grievous bodily harm. I remember there was a teacher that flogged a student in my school and there were marks. Like, that's too much. Like, there's no way. That's not
the constitutes
anyway.
Assault. Please, flog responsibly.
That's not justified anyway.
Flog responsibly. Yeah, you. Flog responsibly. Once you flog other people's children, I see their dog. So what's the punishment under the criminal code?
So for the punishment, under section 351 of the criminal code, you will see that any person who unlawfully assault another is guilty of misdemeanor and is liable if no greater punishment is provided to imprisonment for 1 year.
Okay, still same 1 year under the criminal code.
Any person who assaults another with intent to have carnal knowledge of him or her against the order of nature is guilty of a felony and is liable to imprisonment for 14 years. That's somebody that sexually assaults.
Okay, that's sexual assault.
Sexual assault. So that's 14 years. And any person who unlawfully and indecently assaults any male person is guilty of a felony and is liable to imprisonment for 3 years. The offender cannot be arrested without warrant. Note that too. So anybody that indecently assault a male, I think it's just like kind of gay, kind of, that's the implication of that. Like,
okay.
Like sexually assault a male person. Like maybe you touch them in the wrong place and stuff like that. So that's
a female person go
14 years.
Why is it that is a male person that was specified?
I think the carnal knowledge part has already covered for the female. And you know that's what it covers on a normal day too. So, and then any person who unlawfully assaults another and thereby does him harm is guilty of a felony and is liable to imprisonment for 3 years. That's when harm is caused, like injury is sustained and everything.
So those like Mr. Lege, Mr. You know, Eshuola that used to flog students like thief. Beware. You know? Stop flogging children like thief. So is that all on?
So that's basically everything on
assault.
Assault is a very wide topic, actually. Very, very wide topic.
You know, this is a YouTube channel. This is not a blog. There are cases, there are instances, there are many tricks and turns. So now, what we have established is that if you shakara, it's assault. If you slap, it's assault. If you flog, it's assault. Unless by consent. That's why in a movie, you know, I slap you in a movie, that one is not an assault. You know, you gave your consent while we are acting the whole drama shoot. You know, so any other thing that you think people should know about assault?
I will just like to put this one out, Sha. Like to know what people will think about this. So we are doing battle rapping or battle whatever. We are battling word for word, and then I make an attempt to hit you, even though I did not do it, but I make an attempt to, like I would do it. Does that constitute an assault? I think
because
it's like you are playing a game.
In rap battle, those kind of things
they do occur.
You know,
like is it
I'm gonna pick your mama, shock you, you know, that kind of thing.
Do they consider, like, even if I make the action, despite but I did not do it?
But we understand it's element of rap battle. Does that constitute?
If you are in
assault?
that kind of situation, will you sue somebody for an assault? If you're in such
nobody will do rap battle with you.
That's the thing. Who will play with you? And then another one is it fair for you to also sue somebody for an assault if you are in a, like, the two of you are just sparring and then the person hits you? Do you think that should be grounds to, is that an assault? You are sparring, doing, you know, the way we do stuff like that, and then the person hits you are you going to sue the
One
person?
thing I can guarantee you is that even if you win, nobody will play with you again.
Nobody will
You will
ever
live in
play with
isolation
you.
for the rest of your life.
That's-
Drop your comments. What's your association? Who has assaulted you before? Who are you suing after this content? Let us know. This is Legally Speaking, and I remain Elon Jobs. This is Barrister Tracy, and we will see you in the next episode. That is, if you subscribe and like and share to your friend. Else, you are going to see and meet me in court. See you later.